In my money class, I always tell people, yes, cut expenses when you're dealing with money, but cutting expenses is not a strategy. Cut to deal with your short-term things that you need to change, but cutting expenses forever is not your short-term strategy. Nobody shrinks into greatness, yeah? So it's just understanding that's my value. So for me, when I understood it's beneath the surface, it impacted the kind of trainers we get. It impacted the kind of people I hire. It keeps me awake at night when I think we're just on the surface. It's like, I like deep sea diving. But I like deep sea diving because on the surface, everybody's there. They're swimming, they're on boats, etc. But under the sea, you see a whole different world. So what is your unique value? And don't underestimate it. And Lillian, I love what you said about creating friendship deliverables by Professor Esther. I love that because sometimes it is those subtle things. Am I talking to anybody here? Am I talking to anybody? Deliver value. So next, so that's just understand, build value, know your value, position value, package value, negotiate on value. I'm learning even negotiation is part of the game, but if I'm going to do something at a discount, it must be because I have understood the value that I am still getting, not because my product or service is worth less. You can't go to a supermarket and come out with 2 kgs of sugar, yet only wanting to pay 1 kg of sugar, okay? Next is vision. And vision is very, very underestimated. On the screen, I've put up a book. I wrote a book called Making Sense. And it is a book about money, and it has stories about money, including myself. But this process taught me about vision. First of all, sometimes we have the vision, but we don't know it's a vision. So on 19th March 2009, as you can see there, I've even written Quiet Time, I wrote Write a Book. Exactly 10 years, because in March 2019, I published my first book. Currently my first and only book, yeah? And it's called Making Sense, and you can see already I was playing around with names. But when I have always thought vision, first of all, should be this whole Martin Luther King speech. I should constantly go and give the team of I have a dream, and they buy into the dream. And trust me, I have tried that many times, yeah? And it is that, but this taught me, when I finally wrote the book, I wrote the book and then I tore it apart. Because at first I was writing a book that was based on the kind of books I had read. And many times we are building a business or trying to build a business based on the businesses that we have seen. But I tore up that manuscript and rewrote the book. So the book is actually a storybook. So in it, people talk about all the way from how they grew up to how it has impacted their relationship with money, how they've gotten out of it, their stories around money and relationships, young people and how they interact with money. So it's a storybook. It reads like a storybook. My 10-year-old child has actually read it. But it's those small things that are also vision. So vision is not only the big picture of the book. Vision was also understanding that the way I first wrote the book was not the book. I wanted to write it as a storybook. So vision is in that big goal that you have, but it is also in the story that you are creating every day. It is in the how as much as it's in the what. Have you ever asked yourself why you know what you know? And I think as founders of businesses, which is the majority of people here, we are always wondering, how come I know that, but I can't tell anybody and anybody else cannot actually understand it? So think about vision this way. Do you remember when you decided there's a certain car you like? Please tell me on the chat what happened when you decided, just a decision in your head, even before you have the car, that is the car you like. What happened? The car appeared everywhere. Clara is confirming. You saw it on the road all the time. That is the power of vision. Yeah. When I decided I like my car, I also saw it. It's like a whole big container had suddenly landed. So even with your business or with anything, vision is the car on the road. But once you decide that's a vision, your mind starts connecting the dots. Even in a way, this is God's gift to us. Yeah. in a way that sometimes you don't have the words, but the mind has connected the dots. So vision will lead you to write. It's like when you see a member of your team writing a proposal, the proposal is fine, but I squirm in my seat because I'm like, those are not the words, those are not what I want to use, that is not how I want it presented, because there's a way you're seeing things that other people can't see. And the journey we are on as entrepreneurs, we cannot over communicate this. Communicate it awkwardly, communicate it and make mistakes, communicate it and come and say you made a mistake, but every time you keep communicating it, you get better and better and better. And I find analogies, that's why I'm using the car on the road. If you realize I'm using analogies a lot, it is because that is how I communicate vision. That is why Jesus used parables, because we know our minds that we have to see something visual to actually connect the dots.